Hi, my name is Larry Jordan, and welcome to this Power Up webinar on Making Things Move, Secrets of the Motion tab inside Final Cut Pro. This is one of our Foundations of Final Cut series. This is the sort of stuff that you really need to know to make the most of Final Cut. So we're going to go through some basics, but then take you beyond the basics into some of the advanced features that we can achieve using the Motion tab with all the stuff that's built into Final Cut, no add-on third-party software, to help make things move in your projects. So let's get ourselves started. You see, there are three categories of effects inside Final Cut. There are text effects, which add words to the screen, filter effects, which change how video looks or how audio sounds, and motion effects, which change how video elements move. This webinar looks specifically at the effects that you can create using the Motion tab. So our goals for this session are to show you how to use the Motion tab to apply effects to a clip, how to copy, change, or delete settings, illustrate the 10 Motion tab effect settings, show you how to create motion effects, how to animate an effect using keyframes, or how to add, modify, or delete keyframes. So we got a lot to cover to sort of explain all the different opportunities we've got creating effects inside the Motion tab. The Motion tab creates effects which affect the video only. Now you can create motion effects in either the viewer or the canvas. One is easier, making changes in the canvas. The other is more precise, making your changes in the viewer. With one exception, I generally create all of my effects in the viewer. That exception is changing the position of an object. There, it's easier to make the position changes inside the canvas. Let's start with the very basics. I want to show you how to load a clip into the viewer and apply a scale effect. And we'll do this both in the canvas or in the viewer. And before we start, I want to make a big point because this is important. All effects in Final Cut, not just motion effects, but filter effects and text effects, all the effects inside Final Cut are clip-based, not track-based. Which means that if you want to have the same effect apply to more than one clip, then you need to create the effect for one clip and then apply it to all the other clips. I'll show you how we can do this easily inside Final Cut in about, 20 minutes. Here's a clip. And what I want to do is I just simply want to change the clip's size. Well, before I change the clip size, there's three menu selections that I want to illustrate. And they're all up here. Notice these three pop-up menus at the top of the canvas and the same three pop-up menus in the top of the viewer. They do exactly the same thing. One affects the canvas, one affects the viewer. The pop-up menu on the left is the scaling pop-up, but it doesn't scale the image. It changes how far we zoom out to see the image, the frame that contains the image, and space around the image. We do this a lot today as we're creating motion effects where images are moving on and off screen. Or I can zoom into an image to see detail. This is exactly the same as zooming into or zooming out of the timeline using Command plus or Command minus. Just as we can zoom into the timeline to see a specific detail of a clip, we can zoom into the canvas, and Command plus zooms in and Command minus zooms out, and Shift Z automatically scales the clip to fit inside the window. We're not changing the image size, we're simply changing our view of the image. The other menu that's really important is this one. And notice that we have these three settings at the top. The first setting called Image, the second Image and Wireframe, and the third Wireframe. When this is set to Image, we can see the image. Let's just zoom back a bit here. We can see the image as an image, but we can't manipulate it. It's something we can look at, but it's not an object that we can touch. When we change this pop-up from Image to Image and Wireframe, now we can select the image and manipulate it as an object, which is what we're going to be doing a lot of in today's session.